visit a couple stands today, and they just keep on coming up with new things. You know, when my kids were little, and I used to buy this little rocket and with the rabbit on it. So the rabbit with the rocket and the turtle with the rabbit with the rocket. So we will burn it to see which one goes faster, right? And it is a really fascinating time. And I know we all grow up with the fireworks, and I want to talk about the fireworks because that by itself is a business, right? Obviously, you come to Community CPA because you know that we're specialized in business. Anything you want to try your hands on and you're not sure whether that is a good idea or not, actually, here is your place, your hub of knowledge, and we're here to help you. We got 30, 40 people in our firm, and we do nothing but hustle around your business, making sure that your fireworks will burn high and sound loud. Boom, like really, really loud. And here I'm showing you our website. If you want to get into appointment with us, this is such a great tool, folks, and you can select the partner. And we all have our expertise areas, so if there's anything that you felt, I want to check out to see how the POS system can be set up, even though I bought a POS system, but the vendor who sold me the system and is on vacation, and we really don't know how to set it up. Here, July 4th is here, I'm selling a lot of firecrackers, and I need some help, then you can actually make an appointment with Derek and get into our service line, and we will provide you that service on IT side, right? And I myself, and you can see that I'm right there, a CEO and a managing partner, and you can definitely book my time, and we'll come on Zoom, meet you, and talk about your business and providing your guidelines. And the other website I'd like to introduce you to is our YouTube channel. And this is a library of knowledge, but in sound format. And you actually can type, in the magnifying glasses right here, you type a topic you want. For example, you want to know farm industry. You type farm, then all of our videos, classes we taught related to farm will come up. Look at that, Schedule F for farms. So folks, and this is a inventory of over 1,000 videos. And some of the videos do expire with time. For example, things like PPP and RF, those are pandemic years. These are hot topics, but now it's not so. Other than if you get a compliance review by the government, you probably want to watch our video again. But other than those time-sensitive ones, like Schedule F, Schedule C, and tax returns, and today we're talking about seasonal business, they don't change. And you can always come back to review our videos and just be in the know, right? I always say that in business, it's not so much about you have a brilliant idea. Of course, Elon Musk has a brilliant idea, so we got Tesla, right? There will be people like that doing huge businesses, but not every human being on earth was given that kind of intelligence or opportunity to be Elon Musk, right? So we are here creating from scratch. So if you are small business owners, if you have never done any businesses, you're thinking of, I just want to fill up my summer because my job, my full-time job, just not really busy in the summer. I have a load of time. I don't know how to use it. Then maybe seasonal small business would be a calling for you. So here we're going to tackle and how to do that, why to do that, what we need to know, all of those things that you want to understand about seasonal business, we talk about it today. Now, let's follow through. I always tell our folks that, our presentation style is kind of driven by PowerPoint. And I know if you go on the internet, there's a lot of entertainment side, right? If they talk of underwears, they show you underwear. If they talk about puppy, they show you a puppy. And we really, we're so academic driven, so that's not our cup of tea. But we try to make it very relevant for business owners. So here we go. And fireworks, seasonal business. Why do we talk about seasonal business? Because not every business operates from January 1st to December 31st. No, not all the businesses are really occupying your time 100%. So a lot of people start doing small businesses on the side. So, maybe they're working at the bank, but they're also doing, freelance writers and doing things like that. We're talking about those small businesses, and there are a bunch of small businesses are actually seasonal. So follow our slides here. And oh yes, remind me to introduce myself, right? My name is Ying. I am the CEO and managing partner for Community CPA. Community CPA is a 26 years old company. We started in 1998 with one client, one person, myself, and today we have over 10,000 clients. We have about 40 staff professionals. So giving that years of stretch, you can see we did grow. And for any company, that is true. If you grew, that just means that you're doing something right. And I have served on the National Taxpayer Advocacy Panel. This is a federal advisory committee to IRS for 3 years. So with that credential behind me, and I think that's add a little bit of confidence for things we are doing around our firm. And you can go to our website, like I said, book our appointment. And I am an author for a book series, and I'm writing this four books a series. So the first one is 8 a.m. Appointment with Ying at 8 a.m. That book is about starting up a business. So if you want to be a seasonal business owner and you just kind of not yet started, I recommend you to read my 8 a.m. book. That book will teach you how to start a business. I also finished the second book, folks, that is 10 a.m. 10 a.m., growing your business. So just like how the business path you go through, right? You start, you grow, and I am writing, the third one is 2 p.m. 2 p.m. is all about merger and acquisition. Talk about growing, right? When you grow your firm to a certain point, or when you grow your business to certain level, and you will be wondering, how did Starbucks become a national chain? How is this franchise come about? And why is the other person can open up a gas station that is nationwide and is just growing like mushrooms? Why it is my gas station just stay small and, didn't really prosper. So 2 p.m. we talk about merger and acquisition, helping you grow even faster by doubling down on your operation. Then, of course, my last book is 6 p.m. That is retiring from your own business. I was kidding to a couple people that they were asking me about what 6 p.m. gonna be. I said it's only gonna be 2 pages. So the cover page, appointment with Ying at 6 p.m. The second page say retirement, ? No. So that's it. No retirement. So that's what I was thinking to do this retirement book. But of course I don't have the answer because I myself haven't really arrived there yet. So once my mentor is there, I would be able to write that book. So my fourth book is still not there yet, but you can see those books are really give you an idea of how you can run your business, right? Of course, no responsibility disclaimer for anything we talk about on the internet, and we do our due diligence. We work hard to make sure our presentation is right. But if there is any mistake, that don't rely on webinars and don't rely on the internet screenshot to make a real decision. When you want to make a real decision, always seek for professional help, right? Now let's talk about what kind of business can be a seasonal business. I listed them for you. Fireworks, selling fireworks, you're only going to sell it about a month before July 4th. Then after July 4th, you can kick into a discount sell a little bit more, but it's really a month of July business. Am I right? So Christmas trees, accessory business, Christmas is that week of Christmas, so it's really temporary. It's just right there. You better sell all of the stuff you bought, right? Tour guide business is also seasonal, and so depends on where you are touring guide to. So if you are doing desert tour, and there's seasons when you're gonna take people. So these can be seasonal. Landscaping, in Midwest, it is seasonal. We just don't have green grass all year round, not like California and the southern state. Food truck can be seasonal, right? And you can be owning a food truck, but only operate it and for the summer event, like our event here in Des Moines last week, the Des Moines Art Festival. So I counted there were 15 food trucks in one street. So that tells you food truck can be a seasonal. Mobile personal trainer, that can be seasonal. And tutoring services, chimney repair business, and vacation resorts all can be seasonal, right? So of course, on July 4th, that's a huge seasonal, and I want to kind of talk to you about, what do you need to know when you are into a seasonal business? Is there a lot to do to save taxes? Is there a lot to do to get your business running so well that one day you actually can operate that in full scale for 12 months a year? So that is what we are tackling today. So business of selling fireworks, and I specifically want to talk about fireworks because this seasonal business has a inventory component which is very important to talk about. Oftentimes you've seen the tent on the side of road around this time, so you probably wonder, is that possible to make money with these kind of things? And you can be sure that whenever there is a business out there, there is two possibilities for people to get for that business: make money or not make money. And I will also tell you that it is not the business itself not make money. If you don't make money, you lose money. Is actually that could be you not operating it properly, and it could also be you being so smart, had utilized all the tools in tax world, and accounting wise you are not make money, but you actually did make money, and so you take all the advantage of the tax code, and so you can file your taxes properly, and you did not make money. But that is just really I see that to be a benefit of being in the small business. I don't see that to be a tattoo for you saying that you lost, right? To your gut whether you lost the business or not. But if you are running a seasonal business, during the off season, you just kind of forget about it, and you don't really hustle, and you don't really thinking about how to make it better next year. If you are that kind of lazy character, and of course you're not gonna make money. I will say to you that I always believed when you take on a job, even if it is not your business, but when you take on a job and you are lazy, I will tell you that when you have your own business, you'll be even lazier. And the people who can really run through their own business and doing well are the people always willing to put in hard work. There's no such a thing about not hard work but make a lot of money. And you maybe give me an example, but I can give you so many more examples about those people who eventually just lose all their money. And you don't think Elon Musk works hard? He works very hard. And for him to be successful, he is the hardest working person on the planet to be the most successful person on the planet. So that just that is parallel phenomenon for a successful person. But there are special considerations on tax accounting side. Even though you made money, but your tax accounting side can come in to help your not paying taxes on the cash that you have on your hand. So obviously, I'm not talking about hiding the cash so I don't pay taxes. I mean, I know you know who do that. But I will tell you, people who are trying to do that or doing that, they don't last very long. Maybe they don't last very long is because of IRS come back to audit them, then they fail. But majority of the reason is not because of IRS, it's actually because you are not doing it right, so you also don't really know how your business is going. And if you just happy with pocketing $5 cash, so you feel like you win, and then that's too small of a money for business people. When we are in business, we're not talking about $5. We're also not talking about $50. We're talking about $500,000 or $5 million. So if you have ambition to make that kind of money, and you certainly wanting your accounting tax to be done not only right, and also taking all the advantage you can take on taxes so you don't pay taxes or pay less tax, right? And before our president get charged with tax fraud. So right now, it is still not final, right? But before he get nailed on the board saying that it was a fraud, and all of his doing, it is about tax play. He is trying to move money around so that he doesn't pay taxes in one entity and save taxes on the other entity. So these are the things, there is a fine line between fraud and your avoidance taxes properly, legitimately. So when you work with Community CPA, that's what we care. We want books and accounting to be accurate. Then we look at what IRS come out, what White House give us for that year. The taxes is a tool for the White House to implement their agenda. So it changes whenever we change president, right? So that's a normal thing. But what we want you to consider when you want to do a seasonal business, and we want you to first of all, keep your full-time job. If that is your first venture, and we don't want you to quit your job and start seasonal business, that's not a good idea. And we want you to take your time to prepare the seasonal business and make extra money and test. See if you can run a business yourself. Really give yourself a test, right? And, it is easy to look at other people's money, goes, well, everybody makes a lot of money, but it is not the same when you get into it yourself. I have a story in my book. So I forgot the name I was giving to this lady in my book, but she is a secretary of a law firm. You know how people come to the law firm, they're all, they're corporate lawyers, so they make a lot of money, and, she always just see people making a lot of money. So she decided to quit her secretary job and went on to do a restaurant. And on the same street where the law firm she worked for, so she can go back and forth taking care of the restaurant and the work. That's what she was thinking, to do it like a seasonal business. And actually what ended up is the restaurant closed in 6 months. It is not possible to run your business this way and run your restaurant. So what we really want people to do is that to give yourself a small test before you invest $70,000 in the restaurant. That's a waste of your money. Maybe what I would recommend you to do is rent a food truck and do a food truck and test your menu, test what you do is people like. Then before you think of having a actually physical location to run that restaurant, right? So with that consideration, then you can look at your inventory management side. We use the fireworks as an example to talk about seasonal business. because not all the seasonal business requires inventory. The inventory requirement is just on some of the retails, just like the fireworks. And you can imagine that once July 4th is done, once the discount sales is finished, and what do you think about the leftover? And can the leftover really go on to next year, be able to sell normally? Would this be, sensitive to moisture? And where you keep them? What kind of warehouse you need to rent? So all of these things are considerations when you are doing a seasonal business, and depends on what you are doing, right? What kind of business you are going to run. And the tax benefit is a huge thing, because when you have inventory, you would be able to write off these outdated inventories. They don't worth anything anymore. For example, for seasonal business like the novelty store for Christmas items, and sometimes those Christmas item has the year printed on it, right? So if it is 2023 Christmas, and you can't resell that again in 2024 unless you got new inventory supplies. For that reason, or certain item just not fashionable anymore, people don't buy it. So what you end up doing is after Christmas, you try to do clearance sale, and those did not clear, did not go away, and you write them off. By writing them off, you reduce your profit, right? So that way, you actually save yourself paying too much of tax liabilities. Okay, now we want to talk about a couple of things related to tax benefit. Remember, we are the tax accounting people, right? And I can't really go into more details, and I don't even have any more knowledge about what these fireworks are, where do they come from, who invented this. Oh, I was told Chinese is the people who invented fireworks. So, let's not go there because I don't have a lot of knowledge, but let's just stuck with me on the accounting taxes. So let me talk about a couple of things for you just to make your life brighter, make your business life brighter, better than the firecrackers. And number one thing I want to tell you about company structure. And a lot of times when you started a small business, you go to an attorney's office, the attorney will say, let's set up an LLC. So just know that the LLC can be reported on your 1040, so you only pay one fee to file your tax return. Just Schedule C, have your LLC, single member LLC, so you file your little business there. But you can also set up company as corporation, C corporation to do your company. Even if it is seasonal, you can still set up corporation. Then you probably goes, why? What is the benchmark? What should I do? The biggest benchmark I would say to you, and your attorney would literally advise you on the same thing, which is the business risk. So what kind of things you are doing? So if you're operating a nightclub, a night bar, you only open at midnight, from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., seasonal, seasonal in the day. So you only show up at night. But those kind of, facilities, those kind of business just tend to have a lot of risk, right? People drunk, get into fight. And so those kind of business, you don't want to run them under LLC and then turn them into your Schedule C on your 1040. And you want them to be a C corporation, totally insured by itself. If there's anything goes wrong, it is a C corp and completely cut away from you, who you are, and who is the shareholder. You don't even have to disclose who is the shareholder, right? So those are the things to consider. So there is a popular ones in the small business world are the following entities. LLC, single member LLC, so you can report yourself as a sole proprietor. Number 2 is a partnership. Maybe you can't do it yourself. Maybe your seasonal business need to have someone runs during the day because you still work, but you run at night because you are off work. So if you have a partner, that's an LLC partnership, right? Then you can do entity as an S corp and a C corp. See, all of these popular small business entities that you can use, and that's where you decide on where your money come from and who you are serving, risk of business, so how that affect your personal asset and tax return. So all of these conditions would help to determine your business structure. So don't take it lightly, and don't go in it without knowing whether it is right or wrong. And you can contact Community CPA to get that answer. We have just loads of experience to help you to make that right decision. We can even make a different decision for you if you tell us that, I'm just in the process of getting divorced, but I have this business ideas I want to do. So even if you say stuff like that, it will make us think differently about what structure you need. Maybe you're saying that I want to partner with my son, but he's still going to the college and he's getting, scholarship from the college and, based on the income and he has. So all of these information are becoming part of the decision-making process on what kind of company you should set up for your business or for your seasonal business, right? And then you also have to decide which month is your year end. And of course, yes, you can decide on January, February, you can pick any month to be your year end. But why it is not so important? Of course it is important. Let's say I'm selling fireworks, okay? So I will make my money at what time? Maybe I'll make my money starting from the mid-June, right? So my year should start in June. So I can set up a company. I start June 1st. I end on where? I end on May. What does that do? That will allow me to make all the money I need to make because June and July, we got a lot of sales, right? So you got a lot of sales going on, so you made money, but you're not paying taxes right away. You're paying taxes after next year, May. We close out the year end, May year end, and then we calculate taxes. So all of these time, from July all the way to May of next year, that is your preparation time, right? So you're buying inventories, you're learning, and you may be traveling, you may be visiting manufacturers in China, who knows? But those all become your expense. So your income will be reduced properly by your expense. But of course, most of the people finish it by December. So you made money in July, then you got into holiday season, you're too busy with family, your work is demanding, and you don't have time to do anything for your fireworks. But you have to pay taxes now. Sure, you didn't spend anything, but that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm Uncle Sam, and you made $1 million sales, and you didn't spend any money, then please pay me 1 million times the tax rate. If you are a sole proprietor, I'm sorry, your rate gonna be about 40%. So $1 million, give me $400,000 as a new tax liability you owe, right? I'm giving you exaggerated situation, but just to make a point, which month is your year end is very important, especially when you're running seasonal business and you really should not stick with December. But of course, your seasonal business might be okay for December. So I kind of made a list of things that for your reference. So, IRS says that you can use these 2 years for your tax filing. Calendar year, company's fiscal year. So food truck should go from April to March. Why is April to March? Because a lot of food truck sales happens in the summer. So if I start my year on April 1st, the full day, then I will make money in the summer. Then I'll be learning, traveling, and spending all the way to next year, March. Then I start another year. So when I pay taxes, when I go to Ying to file my taxes, and Ying knows that, I spend a lot of money already by the end of March, so my taxable income is low. It's not 1 million. Maybe it is a negative number, right? Depends on whether you bought any asset. We could write off your asset immediately, use bonus depreciation. Of course, that bonus depreciation kind of changed. In 2023, it's only 80%. It's not 100% like before anymore. So But we will introduce to you of what is there for you, right? So you can see I kind of marked my days. And the personal trainer, I don't see that to be any different. January, December is okay. And the summer sport activity from June to May, right? So which month is your year end is actually important. Do you agree with me, right? All right. So the next one is about accounting method. It's so like, every time we talk about accounting method, people is like, no, I'm not accountant. Don't even talk to me about it. No, I'm not going to give you too big of a theory on that. But I want you to know that IRS allow you to pay taxes based on your different methods. So if you are cash method, IRS says that, okay, tell me your cash method, you calculate your profit to be this number, then this is what you pay taxes. But you could be accrual, and you also could be mark to market. There are so many ways. There are a list of accounting methods that you can choose from when you file your business tax return for the first time. Of course, later on, if you go, well, Ying, I didn't know such a thing. I need to change it now because my accountant didn't tell me about that. It's okay. You can file the change with IRS, then go on with your change. So, but you may ask me that, well, why it is so significant? Of course it is. Let me give you a very simple illustration. Right? So if you are on cash method, basically what you spent, what you received on your bank is literally what you're going to pay taxes for. So let's say you receive $100 and you spent $90. So the $10 is your profit. So you're going to pay taxes on that $10. But let's say if I in accrual, I am a fireworks seller. I am accrual method because on July 4th, when I was selling all these firecrackers, and I haven't really paid any invoice yet. I bought from the wholesale. They gave me 30 days payment, so I didn't pay anything. So now, let's say if you end your year right after the end of July, so the bills you didn't pay, if you're in cash method, you cannot deduct, right? You got it, right? But if it is accrual method, that means as long as you have already committed, it is in your account payable need to be paid, and then that is considered your expense for your business. So you can include the ones that you haven't really run through to your cash didn't go out yet, but you already you're already committed, you already purchased it, and you're already utilizing it to make money. That is when you can deduct it. So you got an inventory to deduct. You have cost of goods sold, folks. So accrual method for retailer is very important. But a lot of times we see people with tax return coming to us, and those tax softwares, they all defaulted on cash method. So the tax preparer don't know any difference. The tax preparer never ask about that question. Then sorry, you're a retailer and you default yourself in cash. Then I'm sorry, in December, when you bought all these things you think you're going to deduct, you can't because it's not coming through your bank, right? So you want to be on accrual when you are in retail. And you may ask me that, if that's the case, who should be on cash? Well, the best people should be on cash are the doctors and the dentists, attorneys. And because, let me tell you why. Because they go into the insurance company and to apply for the money, and they don't even know how much they're going to get, especially doctors. They see a patient, they submit the insurance claim form, depends on the patient's insurance company, the plan they bought. So the deductible and the coverage is all different. So $120 submitted, and the doctor thinks that they should get $100 back. Actually, it was $80. And if you can imagine, if they are on accrual, they will have to report $120 because that's what they submitted, right? They're supposed to receive $120, or maybe they're more experienced. They say, well, I normally receive $100. But what if $80 come back? That will make your book really messy. So what they do is they actually go on cash method. So with that said, when you are in the seasonal business, just depends on what you do. And you want to consider accounting method from get-go, right? So my next slide is literally just give you cash basis is good for small, non-manufacturing businesses. Okay, so I kind of just want to give you a general ideas of how that is. And accrual basis, you can track long-term liabilities, current asset, account payable, account receivable. Once you are in accrual base, you got a little bit more items on the balance sheet. So that could make you feel a little dizzy. But that's why you need to hire community CPA kind of firms to help you. I mean, in business, I will tell you that some people think business is simple. You buy low, you sell high. What else? That's so not true. And that would be your 101 business, common sense of business. To really run a good business, it requires business owner to be inquisitive about how every single thing was done, from structure to fiscal year and accounting method and inventory treatment. So our next item is inventory management. So let me put in your head a very simple understanding. The higher of the inventory you have on your book or in your storage means the more inventory you have in your storage, the higher of taxes you pay. So I call that the higher and the higher. Inventory and taxes, income tax, okay? Inventory and income tax are going at the same time. And don't think of, oh, Ying, that's not true. I spend money, so I should be reducing my income, my sales, so I should be paying less taxes. No. Inventory is what's on your book. On the balance sheet. It is not your cost goods sold. You want to move inventory from cost goods sold. Your fireworks need to do analysis. What kind of fireworks you have cannot go through the storage room. Do they expire? Are they going to have problem? Those ones who are going to expire and have problem cannot be resold next year, July. Then you need to write them down. You need to lower their value to zero and bring the difference down to cost of goods sold. So that way you will pay less taxes. So folks, I just want you to simplify your life, simplify your understanding. The more inventory you have on hand, the more taxes you pay. So that is why some large business at the end of the year, they hire third-party inventory account person to come in to count their inventory physically to figure out how much deduction they need to have under cost of goods sold. So they move that over to cost of goods sold, reduce their sales, and pay less taxes because they had a smaller profit, right? Your inventory is a necessary component for an accurate balance sheet. So your inventory doesn't reside in your income statement. The similar item on income statement, your profit loss statement, the similar item on profit loss statement is called cost of goods sold. And that the other item is inventory on balance sheet. So what you need to ask yourself, do you have year-round storage space? Or do you have to get rid of all the inventory left over after the season? Such an important question to ask yourself. So you may say that, Ying, I think I should write off all of my Christmas stuff because it's outdated. I'm going to write it all off, right? So, but what if next year I actually sold some? That's okay. If you write them off in 2023, in 2024, you sold some, and that item would have no cost, right? Because you write them off. So they are 100% profit for you. But that's okay. So writing off inventory doesn't mean that I want you to dump them all in the ocean so nobody can touch it. No. Write off inventory is you have a place to put the inventory with no value. if in case you sold for $1, or if in case you donated to the nonprofit organization, then you can recognize that amount under your income statement, or some people call that profit and loss statement, right? Okay, any shrinkage of inventory when items are damaged, miscounted, and stolen. And in retail business, stolen is actually a big factor. And I just read a report about stolen in the grocery store. The stealing rate went up so high these days after pandemic, and there's a real concern. So things stolen, you don't get sold, but you should deduct it, right? Because it's gone. It's not in your inventory anymore. It's gone. So those stolen item, the cost of it should be cost of goods sold. You can deduct it. You can reduce your profit with that. Okay, sometimes your inventory is just something you don't want anymore. Not because there's no value. If you give to another person, maybe a big value, but you just don't want it anymore, and you can write it off. Okay, so with that said, you see how important the inventory management is in the seasonal business. So after you finish July 4th sales, those people who do a fireworks sale, and you're going to continue inventory, splitting them out, and then making sure that the one can go on to next year, you can keep the value. The one cannot go on to next year, and it really not good anymore. You can't really, discount sell them off, and the people don't really want it. And with that said, you write them off. You know how much you paid for it. Maybe that is $250,000. What do you call it? I suddenly lost the English word, and I do that from time to time. So they're obsolete inventory. So if they don't really work for you anymore, you take that $250,000, you put against your sales, reduce your profit. That is where we call the right thing to do for your business. With that said, folks, and we want to conclude our webinar today with a big boom, hiss, crack. And it is July 4th, and I want you to have that sound effect in your mind, because see that in the different light, not just enjoyment, but also knowledge in business. That is what we do every day. Everything, and maybe that sounds crazy, but every time I go on to grocery store or watching things on TV and looking YouTube channels on my phone, and I always turn on the business side of thought, how that works and what advantage I need to know. So today you learn from me and the seasonal business. You can work that in with your other schedule, and be sure to test the ground before you give up your full-time job. And also a seasonal business, you want to form it properly into a structure, right? And you want to make sure that when is your high season, when is your low season, so you can decide where is your year end. Your year end should right above your high season. So if July 4th is your high season, and your year end could be the end of June. Does that make sense? But I know the selling started in June, so maybe the year end is the end of May. So just keep that in mind. Then, of course, accounting method, and not boring, not hard to understand. And you want to just remember, most of the retail business should be on accrual. And a lot of small businesses are small retails. Just keep that in mind. And then, of course, inventory. Maybe your seasonal business don't need inventory, but if you do, just always keep in mind, the higher the inventory you have, the higher taxes you are paying. Okay? And don't fall into that. By accident. Of course, if you made good money and you pay good taxes, and we encourage people to pay taxes, otherwise, how would these White House support the people in the White House, right? And we elect them to be there, so we have to be responsible to their lifestyle and what they do there. So With that said, our last slide is to tell you if you have anything you want to learn from us, email Catherine at communitycpa.com and call this number 515-288-3188. Do you know we open 6 days a week? Do you know Saturday is our working day? And if you don't, give a try, because when you call, it's not recording. We have people working in the office be able to meet you, talk to you, resolve your issue during the weekend when you are less busy. All right, I will see you all again on Tuesday and appreciate you stick with me and let me have this chance to share my knowledge with you. Bye-bye.